Mom. I guess you know we're getting ready to get hit by a big hurricane. Hey, Steve, it's Anita. It's Monday night, about 9-ish, I don't know. Anyway, I know Mom's talked to you this morning or last night, and, you know, I know she told you we were in Houston, but I was going to say that I've been trying to call her all day, and I haven't been able to get through to her or to Aunt Denise. But as soon as I hear from either one of them, I will call and leave you a voicemail letting you know how they're doing. You can reach me on my cell phone.
Oh, Steven, it's Amanda. Call us on the cell phone. We found somewhere to live. I love you. Bye.
Wow, there's a Red Cross. It's like they have a special Red Cross recipe that makes it taste like. I got an all right chili mac sandwich.
Dude, I never had anything from Red Cross that tasted good. They could f*** up a roast beef sandwich. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah.
You know how hard it is to f*** up a roast beef sandwich?
Stew.
I mean, you know, chicken soup. Oh, water. You know. The pumping station workers that they could leave, they could evacuate. Well, yeah, I guess he did. Seeing all of my house flooded because we were sorry. If you told them that that was going to be their duty when you were hiring them, they probably wouldn't take it, or they'd certainly ask for more money. You know? Certainly.
We are now in the 9th Ward.
Oh yeah, dude, in the heart of.
The heart of the
Once we cross over the industrial, we'll be in the lower, and that's where it's supposed to be.
Wow, it's a refugee camp.
Yeah.
Or an aid camp. Helping the neighborhood people that are still here.
Because there are still a lot of people living there.
Again, we'll just go back to the architectural loss.
Yeah.
That I'm talking about. These are all cypress wood, very unique houses. They all, inside of them, have unique architectural details. I mean,
they're easily 100 years old.
Easily.
Okay, I don't think we're going to be able to
St.
cross.
Bernard Parish.
All you can do is cross.
Wow, look at that over there.
Oh man, it's just gone.
Oh my gosh, everywhere you turn, something horrible here.
Ground zero.
Wait. Don't scrape the car. Oh, don't scrape the car.
These were all houses.
This was all houses. That's all gone.
Yeah, all this was housing. Look at what used to be. These were packed, tight neighborhoods full of houses right next to each other. Let's go check the barge out.
My dad mentioned some people, conspiracy theorists, saying that the levees were bombed.
No, that's. I will say this: they're trying to say that nothing hit the flood wall in Lakeview. But I talked to people who said that they saw a barge that had hit the flood wall and it floated up to where the Rowleys is on Robert E. Lee. And right after the storm, the company that owned the barge came out and dragged it off.
That was Miss Pinkston's house. Yeah, but it was close. It was right. Like this was Nicole Grandma's house right here. Her house was like a little cattle corner.
I have to say, this is enough for me. I've been seeing so much of this. This is.
Yeah, it's just everywhere you look.
It is just too much. Just telling Pat, I'm used to people throwing their shit out on the front of their house and picking through and trying to find something to salvage.
Yeah.
There's not even a question of that here.
It's like a bomb went off. You know, I'm expecting guys in fatigues to come over the tops of those trees with M16s. You know, I mean, I feel, you know, it's like you've stepped onto the set of a movie.
We were tearing up a Christian Science church, which was the first beautiful musical instrument I had to break up. They had a huge, gorgeous Hammond organ. We had to just smash up with sledgehammers.
This is where the water came in. We're following the path of the water from the break.
The industrial canal.
Directly in front of the break. You can tell kind of where the break ends and begins, but the swath of devastation.
Yeah.
The force of the water pouring in.
Jeez. Oh my God. All the telephone poles are pushed over. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's in the middle of the street.
In the middle of the street. Flat Sunday night. No power to this area. Here's a typical New Orleans morning.
It's still spinning.
Eerie.
That house just floated into the tree and collapsed.
Is that a church? Yeah.
I am too, actually.
They're out of town white people fixing up a church.
Yeah, you got it.
In terms of, you know, being a citizen of the city rather than the country, I mean, I really do feel that way, you know. So I've been a lot of places in this country, and there are no other places that I've been to that I would like to live. It's just the place, you know, the people, the culture, just, you know, the whole attitude
has a culture
here.
all its own.
Well, it does. It's very European. The only place that I've been that I would move to was in Europe.
I think they have like 9 schools open in the city of New Orleans.
You're being civil to your ex-wife while she's living with you? Getting along all right?
No, we don't get along, but I'm being civil.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, it's like, you know, just the sound of her voice makes me angry sometimes. But other than that, you know, it's as good as it can be. It's not like she has any place to go.
And have you been to this unemployment office over here on Power?
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, I've been over there twice. I still haven't been able
I've been
to see
there 3
anybody.
times.
And I was like, look, I need a job, you know. I work in ladies' shoes. I was like, I'm a hard worker. I was like, somebody needs to do something for me here. Well, Dillard's gave us all a $500 credit card. It was like a Dillard's hurricane relief credit card.
So basically, they've got this efficient system set up to where no matter what, you can't make an appointment. You have to show up like a huge cattle call with all these other people.
They take
First thing in the
150
morning,
people and
take you all at once, take a number, and then sit there and wait for them to call your name. So you've got to kill 4 hours sitting there waiting for somebody to call your name.
We used to have 35 people in our ladies' shoes department, but now we have 8. I mean, it's just like a madhouse at Dillard's. It's like non-stop, customer after customer, 4 at a time, 5 at a time, and nobody is taking, like, you're walking out with shoes for someone, they're like, ma'am, excuse me, hello, it's all about me, you know, and they're like, oh, well, I lost all my shoes at Katrina, and I'm like, you know, there's a lot of people who work who lived in New Orleans too, and they all went through the same thing that you've been through.
Yes, Andrea was seeing Jeff Qatar Nelson. Now they stayed behind for the hurricane and went through all kind of hell. What happened was after the hurricane, you know, she thought, okay, everything's cool, it's not flooded, you know, I'm gonna go back and check on my cats, you know, and she drove back to her house to check on her cats, and everybody said, no, don't go, and her boyfriend told her, no, don't leave, you know, or I'll break up with you. She's like, I don't care, I'm gonna go check on my cats. So she left and went to check on her cats. Cats were okay, she fed them, she fell asleep on her bed. She woke
Levees
up
broke.
She woke up, then the levees broke. She woke up at like 3 a.m. and put her foot down, and it was in a foot of water next to her bed. And then she's like freaking out, and her car was like going under, so she went, got in her car, and moved it up on top of the, like, basically the ridge where the railroad tracks are near her house, and got it higher up, and then she started waiting to get back to work, you know, to the hospital where she was at, and the water was getting deeper and deeper. And then she saw some other people with a flashlight. She thought, great, there's some other people. She started waving and going, hey, hey, and then they started shooting at her.
Holy crap.
So she dove under the water and swam, and she's like banging into all kind of stuff, you know, and getting all banged up, and, you know, and then she got away, and, like, you know, she had quite a distance to go, like through like 6 foot of water before she got, you know, because of Carrollton, that was like 6 to 9 feet of water.
Yeah, sure.
And she finally got back to the hospital where she was working at.
Which hospital?
They checked her in as a patient. What was it? Mercy?
She was working at Mercy?
Yeah.
Is this traffic the same phenomena that I was finding north of the lake, like the areas of New Orleans that are still functioning?
Oh yeah, dude,
it's
it's like
just
this everywhere.
overrun with people.
From the time the sun comes up till about 4 hours after the sun goes down.
The company I worked for, Krispy Kreme, I went back for a week and 3 days. They were closing the lobby as I walked in the door because they didn't have employees to run the cash registers.
You know Don?
Yeah?
Don was here, and he was working as an orderly at Mercy.
He was in Texas Terry.
Yeah, from Texas Terry and the Stiff Ones. He said he had to carry, you know, dead people. They had, you know, he and Andrea both said they had to leave people behind that were, you know, basically were on life support and stuff that they knew couldn't be transported, but they had to evacuate the hospital. And there were some people that just couldn't be moved, and they had to leave them behind to die, you know, in the storm. And you know, and so Andrea, once she got out, you know, she was there for a couple more days, you know, and she was treated as a patient. She was sick as a dog, and so was her boyfriend, it turned out, and they ended up getting evacuated from the hospital to Causeway and Veterans, where there were a bunch of people, and it was getting real violent out there. They were starting to attack the security guards, you know, and stuff, and they were trying to hijack cars, and they were shooting at helicopters and shooting at ambulances and stuff. So she managed to get out of there because a patient who had been at the hospital with her, who was good friends, you know, who had been real friendly with her, an old black lady, who said that Andrea was a family member, so that she could ride in the ambulance with her. That's the only way she could get in an ambulance with her. So she and her boyfriend got in a ride.
But Andrea's not black.
With the patients, no, exactly. But the old lady was, nice enough to call her a family member so she could get a ride. And then they gave her a ride to the airport. But on the way to the airport, in the ambulance, they had people trying to run the ambulance off the road with their cars so that they could hijack the ambulance and I guess get drugs maybe, hopefully, or something.
Or get better treatment for trying to get out of the city or something.
But basically, they had to avoid a few collisions and stuff to get to the airport. And then when they got to the airport, there was a whole other triage thing set up for all the injured and sick people. And Andrea, because she was a hospital worker, fell in with all that and was helping people out, there like she had done at the other one. And then they finally got they got on some bus or something to get out of there, But so they evacuated them to Houston, and she had family nearby and was able to contact them and everything. And then she and her boyfriend split up somewhere along the way.
Everybody's still walking
yeah,
in the day.
it's true. We've been calling it storm shock,
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is post-traumatic stress.
And then we had...
Dude, it hurts me sometimes just to be, at certain places now. Because...
I get teary-eyed sometimes.
Yeah.
Just for
People bust,
out of the blue.
People bust out crying in public. I've seen several people just crying in public, at the mall.
And there's nobody here.
Just something will set them off.
Well, if the federal government doesn't help us, we're screwed.
Yeah, basically.
We are screwed. Because if the federal government doesn't get the money, this city ain't coming back.
Nope.
140 mile an hour.
At one point, basically everybody I talked to who stayed through the storm said at one point they thought they were going to die.
They're going to patch things together here just long enough to where northern businesses can function down here, and then they're going to leave it at that. Let's go get lunch.
You got to go back to Jefferson
I
Parish.
was like, man, I don't want to wait at the Red Cross van. Man, look at the line. Oh, well, we found out why there was a line.
There's nowhere to get food out here.
There is nowhere. There's a grocery store. Yeah. Special refrigerator squads go around and get the refrigerators. If you think it's creepy now, imagine at night. Is there no lights? It's pitch dark. Everybody applied to FEMA. All in the same house, all in the same situation. 2 got the money, 2 didn't. Because it was a federally mandated mandatory evacuation, everybody who lives in this area is supposed to be entitled to $2,000, just straight up $2,000 to help you get back on your feet. And then they usually come back with a second check of $2,300.
That's only if you owned your own house.
No, no, Dave LaBeach got
Well, why I didn't get it was because Mom had made a claim and had listed me under under the household. And listed Benjamin.
It's just one per household.
Listed Benjamin too, and Benjamin got it. There's some people getting it,
And
some
you get
people
different stories from different people you talk to as well. I mean,
What I'm being told is you should have evacuated out of state.
Somebody was telling me about there was a Salvation Army in Mississippi. Was it in Hattiesburg, Mississippi? There was a Salvation Army that was giving out like $1,400 checks. And basically you had to stand in line for 3 or 4 hours and you get a $1,400 check. And giving it away. So you had people driving from here to there to stand in line for 4 hours to get the check so you could come back and pay rent.
How much did you get from the Red Cross?
I got $360.
Have you ever collected unemployment insurance before this?
No, never. Certainly not.
Or food stamps?
No, never before.
It was one of those rare hurricanes that hit during the daytime. They always seem to hit at night for some reason. This one was hitting in the daytime.
There's a faint park here.
Right there.
People are all living in those?
Yep.
Yeah. We don't know who they are. They may
city
be
employees.
city employees.
Even was so badly damaged, they're going to have to tear it down. This was the dormitory.
Tulane.
That's where we are.
Tear the whole building down. Look at the debris still here, pulled out of these houses.
Wow.
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis is home?
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, this is what I wanted to come. Just to see it.
You got it out of your system.
Yeah. 81 slot machines in that little building right there.
This is my Aunt Janice's house. There's some damage. This whole house got flooded in Hurricane Katrina. There's my family.
Well, I didn't leave the city because Jimmy came in and said, Mother, it's going to be as bad up in the country as it is down here. So we decided, okay, we'll stay down here. So we did. So the next morning when I got up, I went to the bathroom and I started out and I said, BC, I think we got a pipe broke. But before I got into the living room, I figured it wasn't the pipe broke. It was water coming in from the outside. We moved around in here trying to figure out what we were going to do, and finally got to the door and stopped. The water kept coming up and up and up and up and up, and it finally got up to about here on me, where it stayed for 3 hours before it went down. I was glad to see it stop, though, I can tell you for sure. The bed began to float, the furniture turned over. My refrigerator turned over, a deep freeze turned over. I think what else turned over? All my chests of drawers, everything. Hush, Ladybug. Hush. She says, I don't want to be on that picture. Drowned little rat. So we stood there and he would hold Ladybug and I would hold Ladybug. We had her up out of the water. But, that was about it for 3 hours.
There you are.
Okay.
That's enough.
We were trying to get out of the water anyway, whatever, and he got a ladder and was gonna go up in the attic. And the water had gotten so high by then that he kept falling, couldn't get down. He said he knew I couldn't make it, so he just come down and forgot about it. But he had skinned his arms and bruised them all up. They all turned black. And finally, Jimmy come over. He waded water, I think he said waist deep, to get in here.
Did you rescue people?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, he rescued his mother.
You're the one
got
that...
over here to them and got them out, yes.
Okay.
But it's kind of hard to describe, but...
and been putting lives back together ever since.
You maybe call me one time, we'll talk about it.
He wants it on the camera.
I can't get it on the camera. I can't talk into that camera.
You've been talking into it. He's got it on now.
Then he got somebody in a fire truck to come in here and get us out of here later when the water went down. And before we got from here to the street, which is a block away from here, there must have been 15 or 20 people that got on that fire truck that wanted to get out too.
But it was a strange ordeal, and it's one that I'll never want to go through again. It's not real fun sitting there watching the water come down the street and come all the way into your house. That's a scary and eerie feeling, and especially when you're on the phone and your parents has got water that's, you know, chest deep, and you don't know how high it actually got after the water started coming into your house. So you just don't know. It's hard to describe.
That's one of the most horrible things I've ever seen. The water was running down over my car, over BC's truck, in front of the house. Looked like a river just flowing down through there. I mean, literally a river.
Because we're only about a mile away from the Gulf here, from the shore.
Yeah, about a mile.
Well, how would she possibly pay back a $80,000 SBA loan? I mean, she's working.
You pay it back every
Her
month.
Social Security check would pay it?
Pay it back
That's
every
not right.
month.
I hope that she gets the grant.
They were from a church, well, from several churches over there. In
Alabama.
In Alabama. They were from what they called the Geneva Baptist Association. They kept coming back. About once a month, I guess, wasn't it? For about 6 or 8 months. They finally said they had adopted us. They came back in and brought furniture. They brought a bunch of gifts. They brought a lot of, they gave us a shower. It was the first shower we've had since we first married.
You don't have any curtains in the windows yet?
No, I don't have any curtains in the windows yet. I'm going to get those, but these cabinets all the way around. They built.
This is my cousin Glenda and George.
Bye, Glenda. Bye, George.
Bye-bye.
There.
Hey, Linda.
Oh.
We were there with my daughter-in-law, my son, and my 3-year-old grandbaby. And the water started coming in, and we had to get out. I almost didn't get our door open to get out, and my husband pulled me across the backyard.
Snakes going across the water.
And we got to another house, and we had just got in there for a few minutes, and the water started coming in there, and we had to get out again. Went to another neighbor that only had green grass. When we got there, we was there about 20 minutes, and water began to come in, and it was just coming up, and we backed out of there, and we left trying to find a place to go, and wound up staying at a fire station for 5 hours. We had 55 inches of water in our house.
Wow.
And lost pretty much everything we had.
Mm-hmm.
But God's been good to us. He has blessed us, and we're back in our house. And we had We had 3 children that had water in their house and lost everything. But God's been really good to the people on the coast.
This is Alyssa, Jimmy's daughter. You lived in a FEMA trailer?
Uh-huh.
How was it?
It wasn't very fun because it got hot sometimes.
Did you have a lot of privacy?
No, me and my brother had to share bunk beds.
How many people were in the trailer altogether?
4.
You and your brother and your mom and dad? And were lots of other kids in your school living in FEMA trailers too?
More like all of them.
That grant money, I didn't want to take a
You have to
chance.
pay taxes on that grant money?
If you got to be careful because if you get a lot, you
And you were living with 9 people in one trailer at one
At one
point.
time we had my boss.
For 6 weeks.
My boss put a little trailer, a little 27-foot travel trailer in my backyard, and it was 9 of us staying in it. We basically had to sleep. We couldn't live in it.
We lived on the carport and slept in the trailer.
And slept in the trailer at nighttime.
So a little bigger than a FEMA trailer.
It was 27, 29 feet. But it wasn't very big, but it was better than laying outside with nothing. The first night we found ourselves totally homeless, no place to go, and we went to his brother's house in the middle of the night and found a place to stay. And we all scavenged her for food and water.
For weeks.
So it was really an ordeal.
And how's your life changed now since before
Totally
the?
changed.
Thankful for what we've got.
Is this from FEMA?
This is a FEMA trailer. 28 foot long, 8 foot wide.
Well, your house is bigger now than it was before. Is that what you mean?
It's not
modern.
big.
It's up to date with everything. We got ceramic counters and solid wood cabinets and split brick floors and
We just don't have as much junk in it. We had an accumulation for 39 years, and now we don't have anything.
The light to turn it on in there.
9 months?
9 months.
Get your sister
My
to
daughter
stay
lost
around.
hers. Amy lost
Thank
all
Jerry
everything
for
she
us.
had. Jason lost his.
Photo album.
I guess okay.
Here's the bedroom in here.
Well,
We had one thing we never used. Well, they took baths in the trailer, but some of our friends fixed our bathroom up where we could go in. They put curtains around it, and we would go into the house to use the bathroom, and with curtains around it, with everything else open. It was like being out in the wild woods.
for how long you had to do that?
5 months. 5 months till then, sometime later, January.
It's got a stove, sink,
That's the bathroom.
bathroom. Oh, wow.
That ain't very big.
That is the tiniest tub I ever saw. That's nice though. It's got a refrigerator.
It's great if you don't have a place to live. I appreciated it. It wasn't that I didn't appreciate it. I just got tired of staying in it.
Oh, little beds right there.
Yeah, bunk beds.
Yeah, I'm taking your picture.
Put it on.
My name is Patricia Miller. I'm in Falls, Louisiana.
It's August 14th, 2006.
Right.
So what did you have to say about this Hurricane Katrina?
I was in the hallway like 6 hours on the floor with Mom and Dad. Before the hurricane came, I had a lot of friends who cares about me. I have someone who's right close to my heart. And Elizabeth was not there. But after the hurricane was over, I wanted to know Elizabeth was not there because she was nice, beautiful, and attractive woman. And Elizabeth's always there for me. And I love her.
And what was it like sitting in the hallway for 6 hours while the hurricane was going over? This is Elizabeth. She's going to tell her Katrina story.
Well, did you start on
It's about saving, yeah, I'm just starting.
I lived in Lakeview, right on West End Boulevard and Harris Avenue right before the storm. I had the top part of a duplex house. So my house actually did all right during the flooding and everything, but and we ended up not getting mold, thank God. But so we really lucked out. But during the storm, right afterwards, we didn't know. There were, all the news reports and everything kept saying, 40 feet, 20 feet, all these different heights in Lakeview, and we just didn't know how everything did. And I had 2 cats, and we had left them there because we thought we were going to be gone for 3 days.
I was sitting here, and Daddy was on the floor next to me. And Mama had a chair right next to me. But Mom was nervous.
And what did you use for light when the power went out?
We had candles, we had flashlights.
We contacted the insurance company and asked them to send somebody out to do an appraisal. They came out, and the fella finally came out, and he seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder when he got there.
I kept having nightmares about my cats and what had happened and whether or not they were okay, and I just didn't know because they couldn't tell it. They couldn't give us a straight answer as to how high the water actually got. So we got into the city.
When he came to the roof, he didn't want to give us anything for the roof. And we said, well, why not? You can see the shingles are blown off, and you can see other shingles are blown up. He said, well, that was not a new roof. Well, nobody said it was a new roof. He said, yeah, but that roof was age damaged. And he says, I can't pay you to replace that roof. So we kept arguing with him, and finally he consented to give us enough money to replace 1/2 of the roof. But we argued with him about that. How in the hell are you going to replace just half of the roof? You got a shingle off here, you got a shingle off on the other side, you got shingles blown up on both sides.
So we went to the end of Veterans, and it was basically, there was a boat launch down there. Everybody had their boats, and I actually ran into a guy that my little brother graduated high school with, and him and his dad were out there with their boat, which to me was just, it meant the world because they didn't even live in that area. They were just out there because they're good people, and they were standing there asking people, people were asking them, can you go and check on my wife? I'm not sure if she was in the house, and they had an airboat and they took it out, and there were tons of people out there doing that. It was so amazing.
This door closed, and that door was closed, including my door closed. We had the bathroom doors open.
But so I saw Carl Center and went running up to him and just asked him if he could take me to find my cats, and he did, and he agreed. As long they were having trouble finding a couple of addresses, so I helped them, and the water was so high, it was unreal. It was like you could see the top parts of street signs and trees, and the top part of trees, and it was so crazy to take an airboat through my neighborhood, and it was just, you never thought you'd ever see anything like that. And we went, there were like dogs sticking their heads out the top of the roofs, and there was one guy, I saw his arm hanging out the side of, and you knew he was dead, out of the window, and it was just craziness.
We had the trees leaning to the south. It was cracking. One was cracking to the west. One was leaning to the north.
We got to my house, and the cats were fine, and but we took an airboat all around Lakeview. We pulled up in front of that house and parked the airboat on my front porch, which never thought you'd ever do. And we went inside. We had to break in, and went and I got the cats. I put them in the carrier, and we brought him home.
We had food and water and ice. And we had to stay in a house with all the trees was in the middle of the yard.
I worked at a coffee shop, which was right around the corner from my house. You walked in and it was like all the kitchen equipment from the back was all in the front. And there was stuff everywhere. The walls were knocked out, and this was before construction crews got in. The water had knocked out the walls and everything. It was crazy.
Was it easy to live without power?
No, not at all.
It was hard.
Very, 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 very hard for Mom and Dad, suffering with hot, sweat, and sticky. We had no water on. We had to take no bath, no shower, nothing. We had a generator. We had a fan on. We had opened the windows.
So we waited and finally got the check that this agent had promised to us and put it in the bank. And then we started getting in touch with roofers trying to get somebody to take care of it. Well, everybody that we talked to wanted a contract on the front end. They said regardless of how much money we had, that we would pay them to replace the whole roof. And we just weren't in favor of that, so we kept putting it off and putting it off. And finally, one day, doorbell rang, and it was a roof salesman, I guess you'd call it. And he says, if you'll allow it, I will be the contact person between you and your insurance company and see if I can't get you enough money to pay for the whole roof. But he says, I can't do it unless you sign a contract that says that you will have us do the repair work. They refused. She said, no, I'm not signing any such contract. So the guy left. 2 or 3 days later, he came back. And he says, well, he had changed roofing companies that he worked for. If you decide that you haven't got enough money and can't do it, well, then that's it. So we took him on that basis. It must have taken close to a month. But lo and behold, we got an insurance check, another $14,000. And that combined with what we had already received, we were able to go ahead and get the roof repaired, completely replaced. FEMA does not pay unless a tree falls into the roof.
About how many blocks from the 17th Street Canal Breach would you say your house was?
Lots? Probably about 5.
Was there anything left of your house where you lived?
The bottom part of the house where my landlord lived is completely wiped out. But I mean, I'm sure he's got to do a few things to it, to the top part. As soon as I could get in there, I went and put damp rid all over the house. So it really didn't get any mold. There was a little bit of roof damage. Damp rid is, they're like little chemical balls, and they suck up all the moisture in the air.
Anything left of your parents' house?
Everything got flooded. They got 6 inches of water, which was just enough to kill everything, especially if everything was on the ground. So the worst part of it was all the pictures and baby books and everything, especially for my mom. She sat there and cried for days over all the pictures. But, you know, everybody was safe, so that was what was important.
Was the Bone Motor Company like that before the hurricane?
Don't really know.
It was. That's where Elizabeth's mother worked.
That never opened up after the hurricane?
No, it never opened up after Schwagman went belly up.
Oh, that's right.
They're still trying to mediate problems here at Parish Prison.
They still don't have the prisoners back in here, do they?
I expect they got some. I don't know whether they got them all back in or not. They may wind up eventually bulldozing a lot of this maybe we need to come over here and just tour the city. Because I don't think we really understand how bad all the city is.
Well, it's only about half the population it used to be, from what I hear.
Twice the crime. They said the cartel has moved in, so the crime has really picked up. I'm just so grateful to be out here. God must have had a hand in helping me make a decision to move when I did. It's the only thing I can figure out.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, because after
timing.
being at that house for 45 years and not wanting to move, and then just getting up one morning and saying, you know, I'm ready to move, there was not really any discussion or anything, was there, Jim?
Well, no, I was already ready.
Yeah, but we hadn't discussed it.
No.
There was no discussion of moving.
And then you're not even unpacked in the new place when the storm hits.
That's right. Grateful that Anita chose not to come back to the city.
Yeah, well, she's in Baton Rouge, which has doubled its population.
Yeah. But they don't have near the crime up there that New Orleans had before even. And she really has a beautiful home. You'll be so surprised at how pretty her little house is, Stephen.
Oh no, the Crystal Preserve sign.
Yeah, they moved.
I don't know where they moved to even.
Oh, look at that. Did they have any bodies float up from the cemetery?
Yeah.
Oh, they did?
That over there, that was one of the housing projects.
Well, they were talking about tearing it down before the hurricane.
But people were living there before the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Still, they got sections they still haven't got running water.
Really?
And so many leaks in the lines that got to be repaired before there's potholes.
No storage.
The streetcars still aren't running. That's why we don't see any streetcars, huh?
That would be one reason. This was a hard-hit street, Napoleon, and the looters came in, and what wasn't destroyed by the hurricane, the looters destroyed or took. All these old homes just
lost their residents. Is this the hospital Cindy was at?
Yeah. She was there for 5 days.
Wow.
Without food and water.
It was longer than that.
No, she got out on Saturday, I think. She was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 days. This is the main hospital right here.
Yeah.
When they tried to rescue the people, they had people shooting at them.
This is the hospital that the doctors and nurses are accused of euthanizing hurricane victims and patients that were there.
But the people, the relatives of the people who died said they're not interested in pursuing civil suits.
They did.
Oh, well, that's what they said in the beginning. Who knows now?
All of those automobiles started just crushing them right then. Used them to make reefs for the fishes out in the Gulf or something like that. But they have allowed a lot of it has been allowed that a lot of those automobiles are going to find their way back into the market.
Well, they keep saying there's enough blame to go around for everybody.
There is that. Somebody went on national TV, and I forget who it is, said they ought to just bulldoze New Orleans. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad idea. Do we want all of that slum housing to come back? And this is a rare opportunity for the federal government to step in and say, hey, whoa, let's not rebuild all those slum houses. Let's not do that. Let's do scrape it to the ground. Put in new electrical service, put in new water, put in new sewage, and build some decent housing. And put these people back in some decent housing. the Corps of Engineers is saying you got to build out. They're taking these old shotgun houses and jacking them up and putting bricks on them.
They can refurbish the historic architecture.
And then what have they got?
Replace all the wiring and, you know, infrastructure.
No, it's not going to happen. Because once you cover it up with housing and with streets, it's not going to happen. You bulldoze it and you clean everything out and you put new sewage, you put new water, you put new electrical service.
Yeah.
But it's not happening because they're trying to piecemeal put this thing back together.
You hide behind all those words you say. As I take you in my arms, I feel the pain of your eyes. I want to love it all away and all your suffering and strife. Oh, let me make it all right. Yeah,
breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law, breaking the law.
So look, Marty,
all right.
Woo! Throw me something this stuff.
So there will be a Mardi Gras this year.